Infinity on the red, so Infinity do have an opportunity for a little bit of a counter pick.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now what we're going to end up getting from Infinity, because oftentimes we end up seeing Ala, if you're looking at the kind of the games that we have so far, just automatically locking in like a top lane pick like the Fiora, things that can be punished. And I want to see it's like the Desk was talking about, you've got like a lot of one-of champions that we've seen coming through from Bugax, but like Lulus with the Teemos that they mentioned, like maybe you do get some sort of funky counter pick that can come in here.
Yeah, well, we are seeing a lot of focus towards that top side, or the solo lanes in general. The Aurelia, the Camille all banned away. We do see the Nami, the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao and the Zoe banned by LNG.
So this is the first game we've actually seen Cody's LeBlanc left open. Every other team has given it the respect it deserves, like several solo kills in the finals, like guy popped off. I think this could be a big pickup coming through for Cody.
It could be, but I also know who else is a good LeBlanc player, and that's Icon. So if they do want to try and pick that one up first, that could be an avenue here. As the final ban does come in, it is the Lee Sin. So I got there eventually. I was just doing a prediction. As we wait to see now what LNG want to prioritize. They're going to go with the Misfortune, it looks like. Hasn't seen a huge amount of, I suppose, power as such. It's definitely seen a couple of weaknesses in the games we've seen of it in the play-ins.
Yeah, myself and Emily were actually talking about this yesterday. We don't see a lot of teams playing around that Misfortune in the bottom lane. So although we see this high priority on it, a lot of teams aren't kind of using the fact that you've got this major lane bully in the bottom side to try and push in, see if you can look for dives and use that to your advantage. But we were already talking about the LeBlanc hover coming in here for Cody. I wouldn't be surprised to see this snapped up. Cody, an excellent LeBlanc, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. Like when you look at his KDA back from the LLA, he's a 6.4 KDA on this champion.
Yeah, really big comfort pick for him. And honestly, it's potentially your last game. You gotta go for something, and you gotta make sure that you are having as much power in your key players, and that is certainly something there for Cody.
Yeah, and I also want to see you paired with like an aggressive jungler here for Solid Snake, right? I mean, we've kind of seen the Xin Zhao taken off the board. We're looking at also having the Lee Sin gone, but it looks like they're going to go towards the Kiana, so at least the double kind of assassin there, but definitely with the Kiana, you're going to be waiting now until level 6 to really have these big impacts. You can look for stuff early, but doesn't always work out, especially if you're going up against something like the Graves, who can match you toe for toe.
Here we go, Graves and the Lissandra. Lissandra seen as kind of a pseudo counter to the LeBlanc in that mid lane, can definitely survive the burst.
The only thing I'm worried about though is last time we saw Icon play this matchup specifically, he took the electrocute and ended up having a bit of a worrying time with the Lissandra. So I hope he does go back towards the aftershock and gives Cody the respect that he deserves on this LeBlanc pick. But as we were talking about, look, Lissandra, Graves, great in that 2v2, and you can actually look for a lot of early skirmishes just based off this draw mid jungle.
Yeah, we're going to see White Lotus now picking up the Lucian. Now, it is technically a flex. You can't chuck it up into that top side. Most likely going to see it on White Lotus, though, as Infinity have shown it onto him multiple times this play.
And I think Infinity now are going to start looking to ban away some of these engaged supports, right? The Amumu that works super well, the Leona that can work well with this MF as well. Honestly, actually, even LNG might be the ones that take off the Leona just because it works so well against Misfortune, being able to throw down that solar flare, interrupt the bullet time. It's just such a nuisance for this Misfortune.
We'll see what the last few bans are going to be. The Amumu taken off the board. They will not have the Curse of the Sad bullet time here for Light and Iwandi. And honestly, they can keep kind of chipping away at this support pool. They will have the first pick coming out of this ban phase.
Yeah, my biggest question here for Ala, though, is like, what do we actually see Ala play? Because, like, you have traditionally seen go towards these big carries. You know, we've seen the Fioras, the Jaxes so far. The Camille has been a big one for him as well. But I feel like you need some sort of tanky front line here coming through for the composition that LNG have, because you're going to be playing very heavily around this kind of engage, team fight oriented style. So with the Kennen taken off the board, the only thing that we've kind of seen Ala play in the past has been things like a Mundo game, maybe the set, but it feels like you're kind of off kilter here for what we expect from Ala.
We'll see what they want to end up going for. The Rakan and the Mumu all taken away. The Kennen, we'll see what the final ban is for the side of LNG. And again, this is coming down to how they want to play this top lane. They will not get that counter pick. We would assume that this fourth pick is going to be the support. So we'll see what Bugax can do going into a matchup that he should be able to choose for himself.
Yeah, I think you're going to just nab up the Leona, right? Incredibly potent bot lane, especially when you've already got the Nami banned away on the opposite side. So I think you end up going like Leona here. You try and play through that strong bot lane, see if you can find these engages onto the Misfortune. And then on the opposite side, you got to kind of go, okay, well, what's the plan here for Light and Iwandi? Iwandi traditionally has been much more of that roaming support, but certainly as we get into the World Championship, he's been more situated towards that bot lane and not linking up in the same way you expected him to do with Tarzan.
And no, they're actually going to go with the Jace. Okay. So putting Bugax on something that has got that push priority, has a good bit of burst damage in itself. And honestly, I'm looking at Infinity and they see champion, they kill champion. You'll be dead from 100 to 0 in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, you've so much burst. You got a ton of poke that can come out as well, just with the LeBlanc and the Jace. But again, you're kind of missing that big engage tool or that front line. So I think here, kind of eyeing up the Leona here for Ackerman, but maybe they end up going back towards something like the Alistair instead. Give up that early lane pressure that you get with the Lucian, but at least you'll have something that you can work on in these team fights.
We'll see what they want to take into it now. So we have seen quite a few of these picks there for Ale in the regular season of LPL. Of course, he's gotten a couple ones here now as well, so might just go for that pseudo counter in the Monkey King.
And I think this is perfect, right? We were talking about you need that kind of frontline engage tool. Well, the Wukong fits that so well. It does really well against the Jace. You've got a ton of kill pressure when you get to that level 6, so perfect slot in there for Ale. And now for Ackerman, we're kind of going, hey, well, what is that last support? What's the engage tool that you want to go for? But maybe he decides to move away from that. Like, you know, you've got Lucian, the Vigilance, gives you a ton of extra damage when you get those little healings and a little bit of those buffs, so might try and work in more towards those enchanter-orientated supports.
See what they want to end up picking up. They have got a couple of seconds left to go, and right now it looks like, never mind, the Braum does get locked and loaded, so that is going to be a nice old-school bot lane in the Lucian Braum. You get some nice synergy there with the double tap and, of course, the concussive blows.
Yeah, it does mean, though, that you're kind of like lacking in those early stages, right? Like, you do get a nice little level 2, but certainly you've got to try and find ways to set up these engages for Solid Snake, which aren't really there, right? You don't have that big engage tool. So at least from Solid Snake's perspective, you're now going to be saying, okay, well, I'm going to be looking to maybe work through this mid lane. At least that's got some CC that can set up for me, or maybe try and look for Cody to enact a game plan here where you're looking for big dives in the bottom lane rather than just working off your duo in the bot side.
I will say, though, and we've talked a lot about Infinity, but looking on LNG, they've got the Cyclone, the Glacial Prison, of course, the Solar Flare. You have so many ways of just catching people out and constantly CCing them up. It's going to be hard for Infinity to just keep them away.
And a terrifying level 6. If you're looking towards this like Rift Herald at the 8-minute mark, you got the Wukong ult with the bullet time there. Wukong getting a ton of added pressure as well, because once you get past like the 6-minute mark, he's going to take over that lane against the Jace. Makes it very difficult for you to get control back here for Bugax in the top side. So I'm curious to see how Infinity are going to respond, because honestly, we've seen Infinity looking good in the early stages, right? They took the lead early against Red, they took the lead early against Pete's. It's their mid-game, though, that has been their downfall. So we'll have to see, especially against LNG, if they can find those early leads, but hold on to them.
And for LNG, this is your moment to really solidify yourself as the #1 team from this group, to put yourself automatically into the group stage of the World Championships here in 2021, and just show the dominance that the LPL have come in to expect from all of their teams.
Yeah, I mean, LNG's been doing well so far, right? Undefeated. They now have the opportunity with this win to take that first spot, take that automatic qualification, and Infinity Esports looking to play upset, looking to try and keep their dreams alive as well. Because you're going to have Red Cannons facing off later against Peace. If Infinity win here, they play against them to hold on where they can move forward into those best of 5s.
We are on to the Rift, LNG versus Infinity, and this is a big one. Infinity fighting for their lives, LNG fighting for qualification. It is all on the line. Whether or not we get tiebreakers pretty much starts from game 1. And we're already seeing some early scouting coming out from both sides. Neither team willing to give away that precious information of where they're going to be starting their jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters overly much here, at least for Tarzan. It's the big thing is like trying to see if you can sync up with Solid Snake, seeing if you can try and catch the Kiana, because in a 1v1 scenario, at least in these early stages, Tarzan has a good amount of pressure, especially with that fleet footwork. So I'm going to see if maybe he can find this Kiana in the early stages. Just going to trade from Allah.
Good start off there, just making sure that Bugax knows where he is, and this is pretty much how the Jace Wukong matchup tends to go. It is a soft counter that scales into the counterness of it. It's definitely Jace's favorite in the first few early levels.
Yeah, you're really waiting on this level 6 where you'll have that kill pressure coming through as Allah, where you can actually get the engage, get the conquer stacks nice and easy. Allah, though, looking for these early trades, has been able to get on towards Bugax. Just nice job here from Allah to get every lick of damage that he can down onto Bugax.
This becomes very difficult now for Bugax. He has to be so respectful because Ale has gone towards that. Just jump on your face, get those Conqueror stacks up, and this is where this matchup can go a little bit iffy if you don't play it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the biscuits there for Bugax. He should be able to heal. As long as now he keeps his distance with that phase rush, he should be relatively okay. The big thing, though, is that you've actually got Ally having control of that wave as Exhaust already put down here.
Yeah, they really do not want this Light and Iwandi combination to get going right there. Iwandi did take probably the worse of the trades, so White Lotus and Ackerman can be happy with that, but they do lose the level 2, so not quite able to get that first engage going off on the bot side.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. When you take something like the Braum into this lane, you lose a lot of that initiation and the proactivity that you can have, especially against something like the Leona. So you end up with Light pushing in, he's going to be looking good, and now you've got, like, because of Ala having control at the early stage, 2 winning side lanes, you got the push coming in the mid lane as well for Icon, so Tarzan kind of has his pick of the litter here as to what he wants to do, and it looks like, especially with the clear, looking for some funky business. Can always move back down into that bottom side if he wants to look for the Scuttle Crab, but could also look for an invade just off of the, the red Raptors in towards that blue buff.
Oh no, I was just about to say, there's something that we didn't even talk about just before this matchup. Would he take Aftershock or would he take Electrocute? He's gone with the Electrocute because you can see just how dangerous it is for Icon in these trades without that extra little bit of, sustain and help.
Yeah, you're really playing on a knife's edge in this scenario because you want to get as much damage off and you're trying to trade effectively against Cody, but certainly as the later stages of this game comes through, and you can see in the laning phase as well that you're just going to struggle with the mental burst damage that LeBlanc can get out. You have to be so smart with how you trade. Here we go, Ala doing a nice job just to force Solid Snake off that top lane, and Ala's been playing this lane phase super well. Like, Bugak should have control, but because that level 1, Ala's taking over on this top side.
He really, really is, and able to just be a nuisance to Solid Snake, and as we said, that's going to be engaging this bot side. You haven't quite got Tarzan here, so it's still just a native 2v2. Awandi will get a little bit more damage down onto him, but they did see Tarzan on the scuttle, so they know the jungler is around. I don't think Infinity are going to go any further.
Now, I mean, look, Tarzan got the double scuttle, right? He's given up on his wolves on the top side, so then he was able to get into position for both scuttles at the get-go. So Solid Snake going to be a little bit behind when it comes towards the camps, but a nice job from Tarzan, and we have to see if he can keep this up, right? Use the fact that he's got a ton of lane pressure to start looking for these invades, linking up with Iwandi like we saw in our playoffs.
See now this bot side, Light forced the flash away immediately. The concussive blows were there. The cleanse has been used. They will stop Iwandi, and that's double summoners down now. White Lotus will flash away, recognizing he hasn't got a hell of a lot of health bar. Solid Snake will find Tarzan as Iwandi now roams up, flash away by the Kiana. And this is all a bit too scrappy, but in the end of it all, it's still LNG who come out on top.
Yeah, I know, nice job from LNG, right? You get the summoner spells coming out from White Lotus on the bottom side. You got the potential for Iwandi to then join in onto the play onto Solid Snake, and the whole time this was going on, right, Icon got a quick reset. He's able to pick up that wave in the mid lane, so not losing out on too much. So LNG just picking up these small advantages across the board, and this is exactly what you want for LNG, right? The top side was probably their most dangerous portion pre-level 6. Well, Ala's been riding high as a 10 CS lead in that lane, and then when you get to the level 6 that's going to be coming up in just about 45 seconds, you can look to start making plays around these quick skirmishes.
We'll start seeing those level 6s coming in very, very soon. Icon almost there, as well as Cody's. The Soul Lane's going to be getting there. Tarzan's still a little bit far away from it. The junglers go for it, but big moments on the horizon, Dagda, for both these teams.
And you can see LNG know it, right? Iwandi, get up here alongside Tarzan. Make sure that you're looking to play into the face of Solid Snake. They know exactly what they need to do in the early stages.
Oh, Bulgax, he gets caught out by Ale. Goes flash in, go under, but a flash away. There's first blood. Not going to be a respite there as Iwandi was playing keep away.
And there's the level 6 we talked about. The second Wukong hit 6, you need to give so much respect to him. And Bulgax just gets caught out. Now, potentially looking for the dive. Iwandi stops the recall.
They stop the recall there. Solid Snake now 1v3 underneath his own tower. He's going to try and keep himself away from the vision. They have got them there a little bit there with the Scryer's trinket, but not enough to try and keep him away. Solid Snake will fall down. That's 2 quick kills to LNG.
And this is something we've seen in all the... Oh, Icon!
And that's why you take Electrocute.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, yeah. My bad, guys. But Icon kind of just putting the dominance on mid lane. We're seeing dominance on top side, and this is something, at least on those top lane plays, we're seeing a lot from LNG. Give Ala the resources to control the top half of the map. Usually he's on picks like the Jaxes and Fioras. There's more of a split push, but certainly Wukong going to be terrifying both in the side lane and when you get 2 team fights.
And we're seeing the power of this Leona pick. The roam you're able to get on it has been picked 9 times so far this tournament. 100% win rate. This support has been proven, specifically in the play-ins, to be so powerful for these teams.
Yeah, I mean, great engage, great on the roams, and that's what we're going to see in this replay here as well, where Ala just manages to get the quick engage onto Bulgax the second he hits level 6, even getting that flash as well to just guarantee the second knock-up and the extended range coming off of the Q bonk, meaning that he's able to finish him off. And again, it's just not really respecting the level 6s on both the top and the mid lane there. Cody getting caught out as well. Had the flash, but Icon just quicker on the trigger finger.
And this is a big moment now for Infinity. You got to try and stem the bleeding a little bit. Where do you want to see them trying to attack to bring themselves back into this game?
But the big thing is trying to make sure the Solid Snake can hit 6, right? This was kind of the problem point that I saw, was that not having Kiana on the map early means that you need these solo lanes to be winning to have somewhere that Solid Snake is going to be safe. Now, going to hit the level 6, but you're not really finding success in the mid lane. You need to start linking up with Cody off of these pushes and looking to make plays topside, looking to maybe get dives onto the bottom lane.
Well, we are seeing Cody just take away a bit of vision and hover around towards this top side, seeing if Icon goes away. It's good to see Cody now recognizing without the aftershock, very squishy Lissandra, so has a couple of opportunities to maybe go for something. Ale will take 2 turret shots after going for the trade onto Bugax, so it's a bit even there. But again, you're looking at CS leads, 15 in top, about 20 or so in mid lane. It's dead even in bot, but jungle also getting 2 or 3 camps ahead. This is just LNG playing through the motions and going through the wins.
Yeah, and you can see now, Icon,
and they're just going to be able to CC lock him down. Cody will go back. He will get himself out with the flash as we go back down towards this bot side. They're trying to get down onto I1D and Light. Not quite able to go just underneath the tower. The double up is enough to take down Ackerman, who just hung around a little bit too long. And now with the heal, White Lotus forced to relentlessly pursue away. And now Solid Snake trying to make something happen in the mid lane. He's going to get the stun down. They're going to jump straight down on top of him. There is not a stun on the Supreme Excellence, and that is going to be a trade-off right there. Tarzan will take them down, so it's mid laner for mid laners. The jungler's going to kill a piece. Solid Snake being chased down, though. This red buff is obnoxious, and a double kill for Tarzan.
And Tarzan able to just clean that up. Icon gives his life for the betterment of his jungle, and now Tarzan gets to shove in this wave. He's going to get a turret plate. Look at the top side. You got Ala winning again. Bot lane's gone astray. Infinity just cannot find success, and I thought they were just going to play it slow, right? Help, get that push for White Lotus and Ackerman. You know Rift Herald's up, get the faster reset, then look to use these like small jungle corridors up around Rift Herald to try and find that success with Solid Snake and that ultimate, but unfortunately they try to make the play mid. Tarzan's already there, and now LNG are sitting 4,000 gold up at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, it's looking a bit dire right now, and it just feels like LNG are just playing smart about this. Even right now, you can see just recognizing, cool, I can all in on you. I'm a level ahead. I have the Cyclone and Bugax. I don't know if you're going to be able to get out of this when he just about gets himself away, but he's only just come back to lane. He's going to have to leave again.
Yeah, good knock away there, at least to keep his life, but you can already see LNG now. If they go, right, your top lane isn't there. Oh, no.
He's on a ward, but Bugax, you got to leave. You got to leave, buddy. You can't just sit there. They are waiting for him. He's still sitting on top of it, but oh no! With the dummy and Ale with 3 kills in this top side, it's starting to look real dire.
You know, Ale had started to pick up a couple of fans coming into the lanes.
a little bit.
It's kind of looking good for him now. And look, LNG then. Graves starting to clear out on the Rift Herald, so you're going to pick up that objective. You're trying to trade it here for Infinity on the bot side of the map, but I mean, at this stage, with the gold lead that LNG have, they can have basically their pick of the litter as to when they want to take the next dragon. So you need to start finding ways to slow down the bleeding, look for picks, look for moments where you can take advantages against LNG.
Yeah, it just feels like LNG are just suffocating them right now. They're playing cleaner, they know where they need to be, and they understand how much damage they have. You can look at the goal difference. We're up to about 4,500 at the 10-11 minute mark. That is just ridiculously far accelerated, especially for something like a Wukong that now has a Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, I mean, you're just having Tarzan live in Solid Snake's jungle as well now, right? Because you're just like, cool, I have winning mid, top, bot's totally fine by itself. Like, we don't really need to invest resources, so he's just constantly clearing out the top side. And if you ever try and have Solid Snake cross river, well, he's going to get spotted out with some of these wards. Going to oh, Tarzan actually.
Oh, Tarzan going to find Bugax. He's going to keep ticking down. Yes, he is. Enough of damage was done, and Tarzan gets himself another kill. 8-1. It is nearly a 5,000 gold lead. We're going to see them now focusing towards this bot side as Light and I1D have just been kind of playing 2v2. But Solid Snake is here. They're going to try and turn this one around with the misfortune. Oh, you can see White Lotus and Ackerman. They're so desperate to make something happen. They know that Solid Snake is there, but they just can't make it stick.
And you still have the double TPs for LNG as well, so they can come down here at any point in time. They're trying desperately to find something, but even then, the responses are still there from LNG. Tarzan now makes his way bot side and says, get the hell out of here. This map belongs to LNG.
Coming into this game as well, we talk about, you know, solo kills as such. You had Bugax with 3, which is pretty respectful coming into it. Ale had 5, but that's gone very much ahead of everybody else right now because he's just been feeding off of Bugax's Jace.
Yeah, I mean, this has been non-stop LNG, and I mean, heartbreaking for teams like Humble Live, heartbreaking for the Latin America representatives as well, because I know a lot of fans were hoping maybe Infinity can bring it back, find their opportunity to get in towards the best of fives, but LNG might find more here.
They may indeed. Iwandi and Tarzan, though, do not want to try and take this fight right now. They know they probably don't have the damage without the ultimates, but they're going to go straight in on top of White Lotus. Tries a relentless pursuit, goes in, gets a cleanse, is a little bit late, forces a flash away, forcing a TP out of Bugax, which means he's going to have less and less time with any of these minions. Tries to get a bit of damage down with the accelerated shock blast, but it's just so difficult right now. You have to try and defend this. There is a Tarzan with a Rift Herald. They're going to be able to take your turret. There's just too many holes, and you're just letting all the water in.
And here's the thing, Ala has got push in topside. He can now shove that wave in, reset, maybe look to group mid, maybe look for plays on the bottom half of the map as well. So again, like LNG, they're always trading up in these scenarios, even when it looks like, oh, well, it didn't get kills, that's good, but there's now more options for LNG when it comes to the tree of decisions they can make.
Well, they're still going towards this bot side. Iwandi with Tarzan and Light going to be able to push in this wave. They've got Icon on the roam. They're going to be able to drop down this Rift Herald. So nicely positioned here to try and get it right on top of the tower, regardless of the minion wave. But Cody is on his way, so it could be a 4v4. There's Shelly going to eventually get the knockback. Goes not she won't actually. They're going to flash in straight away. It's Alex trying to jump on the Tarzan, who will be deleted. The solar flare is enough to take down the Lucian as they're now turning this one around. Cody goes in, forces the flash out of Iwandi, but not quite able to take down these very, very low health bars. And with Allied coming in on the teleport, they have to give it up.
Yeah, it ends up being a 1-for-1, which is kind of okay, but with the charge going on the Rift turret, Ala having that TP advantage we discussed, now they manage to get that turret. Ala will finish it off, and look at the quick resets coming through. Light should be able to move up, or sorry, Icon should be able to move up towards this top side. Light can go and collect that wave mid. And this is non-stop LNG.
Look at the goal. Look at that Wukong right
God.
now. It's just absurd. 2,500 gold above anybody on the side of Infinity. And you look at Bugax, he's 3,500 gold ahead.
Yeah, I mean, LNG have looked dominant pretty much throughout the planes. Like, there was the early stages in that game against Hanwha where Hanwha at least had options and were looking to try and play it through side lanes, but able to bring that game back. And since then, LNG now, again, dominating the LLA representatives. And that's now 4 teams, potentially, if LNG can secure this, that are going in towards the group stage.
Yeah, it really will be scary for everybody else as LPL really starting off strong, yet to lose a game. And of course, this game is not over just yet, but it's already at a point of which you need multiple mistakes. You need multiple Hail Marys to come true for the side of Infinity that you would be able to crawl this one back. And 7,000 gold to 15 minutes, it just feels so bad.
But this is the thing, right? Like, it's not like you have a composition from Infinity that can look for big team fights, right? You just get picked off.
Oh, it's 2 levels. Clip shield has already been burst there right now by Bugax, so he's forced to back away. Icon going to get caught out just a little bit, but actually, to say that, they miss absolutely everything. The second chain will go down, so he'll take a lot of damage onto him. He does go himself into his frozen tomb, and they will turn that one right around and take down White Lotus. So when they thought they caught out Icon, they're going to end up catching themselves. Now, Ale, he's going to force everybody away from this turret and just say, you cannot just sit here. You cannot defend this. You have to respect the Monkey King.
Yeah, and they're just going to be able to pick up this mid lane turret. And for LNG, it's pretty much guaranteed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, Infinity, like, this composition, right? Like, how do you try to team fight against LNG? Like, Bugax, you got no real tank in him, neither with Solid Snake or Cody. Ackerman has to try and be your front line, and trying to take back vision control from LNG is going to be so incredibly difficult to do when they can just pick you off so easy. I mean, you saw it there, right? Infinity get baited in, and they just burst out in seconds.
And Cody's trying to do something he can there, but as much as this game looks like it's going to be LNG favored, stay tuned after this game for our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's going to be Red Canids versus Peace, and that could decide a hell of a lot. That's a preview, if we will, if we're getting the result we think of as of another best of 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the super interesting one, is looking at like kind of little tasters that we get for some of the best of 5s, and especially if we see LNG take this one, well then you're looking at Red Canids versus Peace later, which will also be another nice taster that we have. So a lot of like interesting matches to coming up ahead of ourselves as we kind of move into the last little bit of our plains groups here.
Yeah, we are starting to see now 2 items being picked up for the top and jungle of LNG. They've got the Immortal Shield Bow alongside the Youmuu's Ghostblade for the Graves, and a little bit of healing reduction for the Wukong as well. So this is just going to be even harder to try and sustain in these fights.
And at least for us, like, you heard the desk mention it, everybody talk about it as well, like, oh, actually, Allah?
See what he's able to do. Cyclone's pretty big.
Oh,
He might be able to 1v2 this one. They're going to use absolutely everything to try and get themselves away, but he is just too damn big. He's going to sit in the bots, and we're going to go straight down to the bot side and try and take down Icon. They should be able to trade this one for one, as Iwandi does end up pushing Solid Snake away, but in a 2v1, he still comes out on top.
He's just too clean with it. Now able to get that top lane turret as well. Yes, you get the pick onto Icon, but it's not really going to make that much of a difference.
Oh, White Lotus, my sweet summer child. You can only run so far. He's got the kill for it. He's got Ackerman with him now. Double AD carries, Light and Tarzan thinking about it, but with the rest of the side of Infinity down the bot side, they're saying, hey, look, we'll just take your camps. We don't need to take your kills anymore. We can move on from that.
And look, as an LPL color caster, I was a little bit worried about LNG coming into this. We heard Emily talk about at the desk that, like, you never really know what you're going to get with LNG. So the fact that we're getting, like, these confident plays coming out for them in Worlds is going to be super good looking on towards the likes of groups, because we kind of had the mixed bag that was the story of LNG coming into Worlds. You know, regular season didn't look that great. We end up having kind of plays like this where you have individuals getting caught out, wasn't looking so hot, but as we started to move in towards playoffs, LNG really started to pick up the pace. They were working together. We saw Iwandi linking up with Tarzan, and Alice starting to step up as a big carry. We're only getting that even more accentuated now as we've moved into play-ins.
It's a nice little consolation prize for the side of Infinity. They're able to take down Icon for the second time this game, and LNG now, I thought they were going to go for Baron. I forgot it's only 19 minutes into the game. They're actually going to take Shelly 2.0. But Infinity are in the vicinity. They have a hell of a lot of poke. They've got the accelerated shock blast. So if it lands on the key carries, someone like Light, they can look to try and force themselves into this river.
Yeah, and you've actually got decent vision here for Infinity, so can spot out where Ala is, make sure that they're just trying to look for the poke rather than big engage. And with Ala sitting on the ward there, but TP right the way in behind them.
All the way. It is Icon coming in off of that one there, so he's going to have the flank. And now you can see Solid Snake and Cody kind of separated away from the rest of their team. They're going to try and jump straight in on top of them. They don't know that Icon is there, and there's the roots, there is the stuns, and there is the damage. But Solid Snake survives just about the ignite ticking. Yes, it is enough. Iwandi will take him down, and after everything that was needed to take him off, Infinity are going to feel a little sad about that one. He did so well to keep himself alive.
I thought the Guardian might have been enough, but the last couple ticks manages to take down Solid Snake. Now, TP from Ala down to the bottom side, trying to keep up the pressure on the map. LNG just want to make sure that they're using every second in this game to keep the heat underneath Infinity. Iwandi Light pushing in mid. You got Icon on the top side, and the one.
Yeah, they're going to be able to jump him in underneath that tower. Bugax, you're going to have to be a little bit quicker off the trigger with that one. Does end up pushing himself away, but Iwandi has a ward on him. There's the solar flare, forces the flash. Not going to quite get the bullet time, as Stand Behind Me and the Unbreakable does enough. They try to put him into the ground. He ends up surviving, and White Lotus now just has to back away from this turret. You can't defend this.
Yeah, protect the VIP successful, but unfortunately everything else is falling on the map. Top tier 2 is gone alongside mid and bot, and now you're kind of going, hang on lads, we're 20 minutes into this game. We can't step outside the base. Baron is up, Dragon spawning in 40. How do you try and hold on as Infinity?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's not looking hot. I'm
honestly,
not gonna lie.
You're the analyst here. You're the color caster. I just got to say the fun things,
So,
you know?
You need to learn about rhetorical questions, you know? Yeah.
Welcome to Education with Dagda. School time. But with the Dragon spawning in 15 seconds, this could be an opportunity here. A lot was used in that last little skirmish. No solar flare, no bullet time. You are still waiting for that Cyclone to come back up as well. So there's a couple of opportunities here available as Infinity. Bugax does get caught out and already down to about 3/4 of his health. There's just so much in that one little combo. You see, they're trying to just get a little bit of poke before this Dragon, but I don't see how they can contest this.
Yeah, the big thing for Infinity was trying to catch LNG en route, right? See if you can use the tight jungle corridors to set up Solid Snake, set up your poke, but now they've lost control.
Oh, Ally's found Solid Snake. He has to go a little bit invisible. They are going to be taking the Dragon on side of LNG. Ally going in. The solar flare is good to land onto one, but they're not focusing them just yet. Never mind. Tarzan jumps straight in on top of that. That's going to be a supreme display of talent to try and just give some space to the rest of Infinity. Cody pushed himself over the wall, and with no tower, there's a nice little collateral damage. Icon is here. They flash over. LNG look like they want some more kills. They want to keep going on top of this. There's another one. They're going to finally have the bullet time. White Lotus just scraping past and away. They get the Dragon. They get 2 more kills. Infinity just have nothing else, and they still have Shelly.
I mean, it's only 21 minutes into the game, 22 minutes into the game. Like, they can maybe see a dancing Rift Herald.
We could see a dancing Rift Herald. That seems to be the objective here for LNG. They will open up the base this time around, but they're not going to try and go for the end just yet. They still got a little bit of time on Shelly.
Yeah, I mean, you reset, spend all that nice gold that you picked up. I mean, 5 kills for Ale, 5 kills for Tarzan. They're already finished. I mean, nerdy 3 items across the board. Real deep TP.
I mean, it's Bugax. He's not the tankiest, but he can get some serious damage down. And Infinity are trying to just coerce LNG into small little chokeholds. They're not landing the damage though. And now Bugax, as quickly as he came in, he's got to run away. LNG could look for another engage. They're getting ultimates back very soon. There's a Cyclone on to 3. Gonna get on top of White Lotus. And this is again another fantastic engage. Double kill, triple kill. Not quite the quad yet, but that is just absolutely massive. And LNG can look for the end.
Yeah, Tarzan chasing Bugax back. Can he get the slow with the smoke screen?
He's gonna go for it. You can see him there with the Yomus. He's got himself some collateral damage as well. Just gonna try and go straight in on it. Doesn't even need it. And this is probably going to be the end of the game. Tarzan and the rest of LNG, we're getting a dancing Shelly.
And it's just domination from LNG, undefeated in the playoffs, or play-ins run. They will find their victory.
They will find their victory. They will find themselves undefeated, and they will find themselves in the group stage. They join the rest of their LPL brethrens alongside a little bit of extra KDA. There she is, getting her nice little dance moves in. It's very rare, but it's so sweet.
Icon on your screen, cool, calm, and collected. Phenomenal stuff from LNG. Level 1's coming through from Ala to take over against Bugax in the top lane. Icon finding the solo kills in the mid lane. It just felt like overall, LNG just pound for pound outpaced their opponents.
Yeah, there was just nothing Infinity could do. By the time they tried to be proactive, LNG were already skyrocketing ahead, and it started so early on. That level 1 between the Jace and the Wukong, Bugax just found himself looking at a mountain, Mount Everest. Because I can't climb that. I haven't got the equipment.
Yeah, and that was the problem, right? And then we saw Solid Snake was struggling as a result, and now we end up with LNG moving forward, as he said, to join the rest of groups, join the other 3 LPL representatives, and this has been an insane run for LNG, right? We get them coming in 8th place in the LPL. They end up on the side of death coming into our playoffs, where they've got to be top esports, Sunny, Orangey, make sure that they can get in towards our regionals. And now you see them moving in towards the group stage as well. It feels